Okay, remember what I told you. Be your own boss. Love yourself.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is mhlongaf, and I'm back again with another winning video. If you're new to this channel, hi, welcome. Make sure that you smash the subscribe button somewhere down below and become a winner. Anyway, today I'm going to be giving you guys interview questions that you should expect to get as a trainee accountant. I'm going to be talking about my personal experience and all the interview questions which I have received in my capacity with all the 6 interviews that I've been with. I'm just going to be taking you guys mostly to the technical questions, which I believe those are like more important. So they are very specific to our field, basically. So yeah. Firstly, obviously, in an interview, you guys already know the drill. Most of these interviews were done virtually. I actually did only one physically. So all of them were like on MS Team, right? On MS Teams, right? So yeah. But anyway, you might I'm not going to be boring you guys with all of this stuff, like making sure your internet connection is ready, looking whatever, because I'm pretty sure you already know what is expected of you in terms of looks and stuff. The basic questions, I'm also not going to be spending more time towards them because there's actually a lot of technical questions. Each and every interview gave me different technical questions, which is what I'm going to be going through in this video, and I want to dwell much in. So the basic questions being, tell us more about yourself, da 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 da, all of those I'm not going to talk about because I really do not want to waste your time. Without any further mumbling, so without any further mumbling, let's get straight into the questions. So with I'm gonna start with like the most common questions which I received amongst the different firms, right? So mostly they would ask me about mostly they'd ask me group-based questions. For an example, have you ever been in a position where you work in a group, and how was it, what was your role in that position? So most of these questions are really like person specific, so you'd have to talk about your personal experience, right? So for an example, maybe you were playing netball and you were a wing defense or whatever it is, and then you had to report to the coach, or you're playing soccer, or I don't know, I mean, you're in a society group. I really do not know based on what you have done, but I also answered based on my experience. I feel like it doesn't make any sense for me to tell you guys my experiences because I don't want you to be trying to fit in your experiences to mine, because that will like ruin everything. But yeah, I really did talk about the time when I was personally working in a group, and you can just like prepare yourself for that. And they asked me, have I ever been in a position where I had to report to someone, and how was it, right? Number 2, it was also, have you ever been, it's like similar to this one, but it said, have you ever been in a position where someone had to report to you and you were taking lead in that particular thing? So the next common question was, why do you want to be a CASA? And also, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So obviously you need to answer that in terms of your version. Like you want to complete your articles, probably have been signed off, and stuff like that, starting to practice as a CA. Yeah, I said like a lot of those things. And then, why do you want to be a CA? Like, you need to know like your why. It is very important. I just feel like that's also person specific, because we aspire to be CAs for different reasons. So it really depends on you, right? It really depends on you and what you would like to do. And then that was quite tricky because, after university, you really do not have much experience. But I talked about the time when I was a tutor and stuff, and I felt like, but I talked about the time when I was like a tutor, which is very important. It is so important that I just wish I knew that, like, throughout this journey you're supposed to be doing extracurricular activities, because it really like comes in handy when it comes to interview questions, because they ask you like, you know, things like that, right? And then also they asked me about, have I ever been in a conflict of interest, and how did I resolve that? Like maybe you did not agree with someone and stuff like that, or like, you know, conflict of interest vibes. I received this question quite a lot, I think in 3 frames. So yeah. And then the next one was literally asked by 5 of the 6 frames. It was name, it was saying name any 4 assertions. So these were like mostly leaning towards like, or the thing they just say name 4 assertions, right? And so you had to name like your I say your existence, accuracy, completeness, you know, all of those things. Yeah, they asked me that. And also relating to assertions, there was this other frame. They actually gave me a scenario. So this company literally made me a scenario, and then they said, they read it to me like saying, so you auditing this company, and this company makes vehicles, or it has vehicles, something like that. And then they said, how would you test that particular vehicle, right? What assertions are you going to test? So for me, before answering this question, especially like when it comes to the technical side, I'll just keep quiet for like maybe a good 20 seconds, and then while I recap what I actually studied, and then I would answer. Like for an example, in terms of that, like you'd know that you want to know that the car is valued correctly. When you want to know whether your car is valued correctly, whether it exists, what procedures you're going to take, like literally. So I think with this, it's like you need to know your substantive procedures. So you know, like when you study, right, and then you're doing what's the thing, PPE, and you do inventory, revenue, just do like all the substantive procedures separately, and then you can try to remember them. I almost died when I was asked. I literally almost died when I was asked this question, because I was not prepared. But you know what? I gave it my all, and I answered to the best of my ability in terms of procedures. And also it's like it's there on the spot. But you know what, at least I made this video so that you don't have to be really on the spot, you know. So just prepare your audit substantive procedures. And then number 2, and then in terms of organizations, they asked me the difference between existence and completeness. So just needed to differentiate between the two. And I think that's all in terms. So yeah, that was all in terms of auditing and assertions and stuff, right? And then they asked me about financial accounting. In terms of financial accounting, 1, they asked me about stages of revenue. Guys, did I not faint? Did I not almost die in that interview? So they said I should name the stages of revenue. Not me. Like, the problem is, with these things, right? The problem with these things, right, is the fact that, like, when you search, it's like, yeah, you just need to know. But like, I didn't know I was writing an exam at home. So they said I should name the stages of revenue. And then I was like, okay. I took a breather, and then I started thinking about like, what do you do when you account for revenue? Like, you need to know your transaction price. But anyway, I took a breather, and then I started thinking about how I accounted for revenue. And then I actually did it like the reverse way, because I wasn't really prepared. So I was like, you need to have your transaction price, allocate your transaction price. There should be a contract with a customer, you know, like you need to know that. So I don't know how it will be asked for you specifically, but for me it was just say list the stages of revenue. That was all, right? And then the other one, in terms of financial accounting that they asked me, this was actually asked for this year. I think it was my most recent interview where they asked me about accounting for leases, and then they actually said, how would you journal that down? So for an example, you had to like see within. So I then asked like whether I'm in the perspective of a lessor or a lessee, and then she said it has to be in the perspective of a lessee, right? And she said it's an operating lease. So I was like, and you need to do like the stages of how you account for a lessee, of an account of accounting for a lessee. Like you need to say what you debit, what you credit, what you debit, what you credit, the payment, the interest, all of those things you needed to like say, and say it specifically: credit, bank, debit, what do you debit? So but essentially it's things that you have studied, things that you know. You just need to like breathe and remember your techniques, your study techniques, and then you say, because I got that job when they asked me these things. And then they also asked me as about my CV, right? So on my CV I had written like a whole lot of things that I have done. Like I was in the subcommittee in the rest that I was staying in, so they asked me about that, what were you doing, and stuff like that. And then they also asked me about like every single line item on my CV when it came to experiences like tutoring and then teachers assistants. They asked me, what were you doing, what did you learn from that, how do you think that is going to add value into accounting, right? And then they also asked me whether I had time to look through their company, right? Which obviously is expected. If you get an interview, you need to look into the company. Then they asked me for the company's values, their mission, and how I think my personality is going to align with the company's values. So I think I received that in one frame actually. All right. And you also need to know that these interviews take almost 30 minutes to an hour. There is no like short interview like those 10 minutes one. It's literally 30 minutes and above, right? So you need to make sure that you're comfortable with that. So this one question that they asked me, like I was just like, I even laughed at myself for answering it like this. But I'm actually going to share an answer with you guys because me and the interviewers actually found it so funny. So they asked me, if I was an animal, what animal was I going to be and why? You guys can see that I'm a big girl, right? You guys can tell like I've got some meat and stuff. And then I just looked at them. I was like, are you guys seriously going to be asking me that? And then I was like, at the back of my head, I was already thinking about animals. Like, I'll say I'm going to be a lion. Like, I'm not even an animal person like that. Come on. So I said, I remembered the story that my pastor used to say about ants and preparing and stuff. So I was like, I would be an ant. And you guys know that like I'm very confident. Like you can already tell that my personality is like very confident stuff. And all the other questions were, I think, pretty much going well. So when they asked this question, I was like, I'd be an ant. And then the interviewers all laughed at me. They were like, why? And stuff like that, you know. And then I was like, I'd be an ant because ants always make sure that they collect their food when it's summer, and then when it's winter they know they can hide inside their holes and have their meals. So that essentially means that when we are starting, so that essentially means that when I'm doing my work, I'm one person who likes to prepare everything prior when there's still time, so that when pressure comes I make sure that I just submit. And did they not get impressed? And one of the interviewers was like, you know what, I love you, I need you in my team. And then I got a response like 3 hours later, and they invited me to join their firm. Unfortunately I didn't join them because of other reasons, which I'm not gonna explain in the video. But yeah, those were the interviews that but yeah, those were the questions that they asked me pretty much. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I actually am missing something. There was a question that said, tell us about your most recent financial news that you've read and what's your take on it. So yeah, I talked about the Ukraine and Russia war, but you can talk about anything like is. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you guys so much for showing me so much love in the previous video. Please make sure that you smash the subscribe button somewhere down below and become a winner.